Hey folks, Matt Sharp here with another Pacific Angler Friday Fishing Report. We're filming for September 4th, so if it's nowhere near September 4th, click up here. This is a link to all the Friday Fishing Reports, and we do it every week, so I probably got something more up to date for you. This week, obviously the big news is they opened salmon fishing on Tuesday, and the fishing's been good. It has some caveats. Some guys had to work for fish at certain tides. It hasn't been easy, and there's been a lot of anglers out there, but there has been some excellent fishing. I'm going to share with you a bunch of the fish pictures, as well as what we expect moving into the weekend with the tides as well as the weather. Now, with that in mind, seeing as though we can now retain fish in a reasonable size limit, 62 centimeters and over, at the mouth of the Fraser in the harbor, where there are no stocks of concern right now, Aiden has a good one for us. If you guys don't know, Aiden loves fishing, loves selling fishing tackle, loves hockey, but he's also a darn good cook. And so he had a big smile on his face when I said, Aiden, I want a really cool salmon recipe when we get opened up on the 1st of September. And so he's shared this with, I've only seen the pictures and it made me hungry just looking at it. He's going to share the whole recipe, how he breaks it down in the written version of the report. If you want to get creative, you want to have some fun now that we can legally keep these fish, then make sure to check that out in the blog version of the report. Links as always in the description below. Now on the freshwater side of things, we're gonna have a nice weekend. It's gonna warm up a bit, and that should be good for all of our fisheries. It may not kick off interior lake fishing as well as we'd like for September, but the fishing still should be good. We've heard reports across the board that the lakes are picking up, they're getting a little bit cooler, but we're gonna look at the weather in the Kamloops, we're gonna look at the weather in Vancouver, how that's gonna affect our rivers, how that's going to affect the lake fishing. Make sure you guys are covered. Now, I also have a couple really cool videos for you this week. We've got a fly from Andre. I've got a twitching jig from Zach, because it's time to start thinking coho on those rivers. We're not there yet, but start loading the boxes. And I've got a fun Skeena piece if you guys are gonna be heading up to the Skeena, something to sit back, relax, crack a beer. It's only 3.5 minutes long with some awesome footage that we filmed back in 2015, where Jay did like 11 days straight of helicopter fishing. It was an amazing fishing trip, and we've got some cool footage to share with you, so you'll want to check that out. I'm going to go over all that at the back end of the report. As always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. Let's get into her. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in with me this week. Let's start off with the weather. And so when we pull her up here, it is looking like a darn nice weekend, at least on the temperature fronts when we're looking at Vancouver area. It's gonna be warmer than last weekend. We're gonna see 24 on Thursday, full disclosure, filming Wednesday night as always. But we've got 26, 23 on Saturday, 25, 26. So nice weather. There's spread on the evening temperatures aren't as wide as they were last weekend, so that may affect some of our interior lake fishing as well as maybe Skagit area sort of thing, but I still expect it to be good across the board. When we throw it out to Kamloops, those boys are getting back into the high temperatures, which is nice. Get out there and enjoy it. You're looking at 28. Ooh, it just reset on me. You're looking at 28, 31, 31, 27. So if you're planning a lake trip, I still think it'll be good, but it won't be gangbuster. We do need to see the spread of the night to day temperatures a little bit higher, as well as I'd like to see it sort of in those low 20s in Kamloops when we're looking at the interior on a whole. But worth getting out there, have some fun, get out there and enjoy it. Now, when we're looking at the Strait of Georgia weather, now this has been an interesting one. We watch this every day. There's boats going out every day, and this seems to change every day. So I want you guys to always check your weather. I don't know how many times I've said that, but at least for today, when we're looking at what's coming up in the next little bit, we've got Friday at 10 to 20 knots, 5 to 15 knots variable on Saturday, which looks perfect, as well as 5 to 15 on Sunday. So if you guys are thinking about getting out to the mouth of the Fraser, the Bellboy, the harbor areas, it definitely looks like it should be some good weather for you. When we roll out of the tides, I like what I'm seeing on the tides. We've got high slacks at 7:30 on Friday. We've got 8:16 and we've got 9:05. The tide's also mellowing out a little bit, so it's not gonna push us around as much. So the reports we've heard where there were a lot of boats as expected. anytime they have a shotgun opening of something that they've held back from us, we're gonna have a lot of people out there. But I think everyone had a good time. I think everyone played by the rules, respected their fellow anglers, worked on keeping spacing, paid attention to what was going on. And they also had really good fishing when they hit it right. Generally, what I've seen from the reports in the last 2 days of it being open is that low slack was when most things happened, as well as that incoming tide pushing into the evening. Morning tides were a little bit more challenging for a few of the guys, but if you stuck it out, if you worked with it, if you played with the different spots, you were gonna find fish, and some guys found a bunch of fish. Fishing bellboy is good this time of year, fishing north arm is good, fishing T10 is excellent, as well as sandheads. Cover that whole spectrum, depending on your timing, depending on where you're coming from, and you will be getting to fish if you put in your time. Now, how's that gonna translate into the weekend? Well, guys are mostly fishing bait. Jay built his leaderboard, which is sort of a famous post that he does every year. Usually it's way earlier than this, but here's his leaderboard post. This is what he's fishing, so check that out. You might want to pick up some of those guys at the shop. Guys usually run bait this time of year, but running some hard plastics, running some spoons, running some hoochies is not a bad idea when you're out there using your whole spread, meaning if you're fishing 2 rods or 4 rods as a strategy to maximize your potential. So usually I personally like throwing at least one thing that is not bait down there, just because it makes re-rigging a little bit easier. That said, the reports we've been hearing is bait has been the most productive. We got bait back in stock. There's a fight to do that. If you guys want bait, call in before you come down. Make sure we can put it on hold for you, because it's been a challenge this season. That said, we're fully stocked right now as of me doing this report, so give us a buzz if you guys are looking for that. Now, on the freshwater side of things, so where you guys want to be fishing if you're freshwater fishing. Well, the Vedder's still not picked up. I haven't heard any reports there. I'm gonna have more details in the written, and Taylor and Alex have been out and looking at it, so they might have some more details come Friday when you guys are looking at this. So if you're thinking about the Vedder, check that out in the links below, because it should be the most up-to-date report. And if you guys are trout fishing, it should be excellent. This is a great time to go trout fishing if you're thinking local lakes, Skagit, Thompson, any of the interior lakes as well. It's just going to get better until it starts getting cold, and then things are going to shift again. On the Capilano front, those high slack tides that the saltwater anglers and boats really love are not good for the beach anglers. Still could get out with spinners and spoons, but it's not ideal for what you guys are doing from the Ambleside beach area. Roll it around to the river. We haven't heard much from there. With the low water, those fish are not going to be scooting up. So when we do get a low tide, or you get an opportunity to get out at the mouth, there should be some fish out there, and it's definitely worth looking at. Just make sure you're looking at your lowest tide so you can get as far out as possible. All right, I got to tune in on the Fraser, because there's obviously some concern there. If you guys aren't aware, there are some concerned sports anglers that have been trying to do a demonstration fishery to prove how selective bar fishing can be at this time of year. Bar fishing is undebatably the most selective way you can fish. It's a way of putting a weight out there with a spin and glow and some bait that rises up and flutters in the current. If the angler is caring and smart about what he's doing, he can bat higher than any other style of fishing on that river. Unfortunately, it's been closed, and as you guys know, we've been ranting and raving about the saltwater anglers getting closed down for no reason. The bar fishermen have taken it on the chin for the last decade. It has been shocking to watch them get closed down. They've always been the low-hanging fruit, the easiest to close down. And so there was a proposal to do a protest fishery, one that I personally wholeheartedly support. And I don't have all the information though when it comes to the biology, when it comes to the politics of those guys working their butts off for it. I'm gonna try to leave some links in the description below if you guys wanna get more educated. I'm gonna leave it at that. There's the rant. I may be drinking hard stuff tonight, not beer. All right, let's jump into some videos, because that's way more fun than politics. So what have I got for you guys this week? Well, I've got a really cool skeena piece. I'll talk about that in a second. I've also got a really cool fly from Andre, and it's an arrow style pattern. If you guys are loading a coho box, click up here right now. This is a link to our What's in My Coho box. It's an old video, but it's a fun video. It's gonna lay out a whole bunch of styles of patterns for different water scenarios. If you're getting ready for the Squamish, if you're getting ready for the Harrison, if you're getting ready for the Vedder. This one's obviously not in it because that was filmed last year, but this is a cool color combination. I'm hopeful that this might work really well for bull trout. Andre said he fished it last year and he had a smile on his face when he put it on the board saying it could be a winner. So I want you guys to check that out. I'm gonna leave links to that at the end of the report as well as up here. That's his new, what's he calling it? He's calling it the Red Bull, which I kind of get. Very cool. Now, jig season is upon us. If you guys are gonna be fishing the Vedder, if you're gonna fish in the Harrison, you're gonna be fishing the Squamish, with gear, jigs are super, super effective, and there's nothing more fun than building your own lures. We've got some cool new jig heads in shop right now, as well as I got a bunch more coming with really good hooks. We custom built these with the proper weight of hooks, so something that ain't gonna bend out, but ain't gonna be too expensive either. And then we've got tungsten ones as well, which are gonna be sort of the cream of the crop. They're gonna really sink fast, small profile, not a lot of drag, really great colors. And so Zach has another jig tying video. Check that out if you guys are tying jigs, well worth it. Come into the shop, we've got all the materials as well as the components. Last but not least, the fun fish porn. We have some cool Skeena stuff for you. This was filmed a while ago. It's been sort of floating around on different sites on the internet, but this was a trip that Jason did in 2015. And as many of you guys are considering going up to the Skeena, going steelheading, maybe for your first time, or heck, you're an old hand who've done it 20, 30 years in a row, sit back, it's 3.5 minutes long. There's some really cool footage. Jay was in a helicopter for like 11 days straight on this. Now he was way more focused on fishing, so he didn't hit record very often, but when he did, there was some fun and very cool footage. We've got some dry fly stuff in that, some cool helicopter shots, something fun to get you into the spay fishing swung fly mood. And as you guys know, that's right now. If you guys want to go over to the Skeena, it's go time for the next month, and definitely worth looking at. All right, guys, that's everything I've got. If you guys want to play around with some cool salmon recipes, something neat, something different, check down in the description below for Aiden's salmon recipe. If you guys want to see Andre's fly, that coho fly that's new, check that out up here. I'll stick that here. I'm going to stick Zach's jig pattern right here to check out, and then I'm going to move over here, and we're going to stick the cool Skeena footage right here if you want to see guys mucking around in helicopters having fun. As always, guys, you want to see more reports like this, consider hitting the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll catch you next week.